Hey there. So it is update time. So I was originally going to wait a couple more weeks before I was going to make another vlog. But being the whole coronavirus going on, I felt it was, necessary for me to talk about kind of what's happening on the inside of NYU. So we'll get to that in a second, but I want to give you a little update about my program so far. So we are in week 7 out of 13 weeks for the first sequence out of 4 sequences in the nursing program. And basically, I've had 3 different midterms so far, and I want to talk about exactly how these midterms are being administered. So, normally you would be thinking like a written exam, or if you have like an online thing, you could just kind of Google and go on Quizlet and figure out the answers like that. But that's not how these exams are. So the exams are completely on the computer, but they use a program called Examplify. And what exactly it is, you can basically think of it as being like a virus for your computer. So what it does is it turns your Wi-Fi off, it turns your notifications off, it quits all your applications, and it locks basically just that one application of the exam. You don't have any access to the function keys like, changing the brightness or changing the volume. All you're able to do is just stay in that one application and take the exam. And, it's an interesting experience, but overall it's not too bad. So the next thing I wanted to talk about with the exams themselves is the averages we've been getting. So I've taken 3 exams so far. My first exam was in pathophysiology. Then the second one was in adult and elder 1. And the third exam I had was in health assessment and promotion. Now, what was really interesting about all 3 of these exams, the average in the class was mid-80s to high 80s. Now, I can understand that maybe for adult and elder and health assessment and promotion, which we call adult and elder A&E, and we call health assessment and promotion HAP. So for A&E and HAP, I can understand that because they're more like kind of just understanding and like psychology and communication. But for pathophysiology, it's a normal science class. And our average in that, I think it was an 88. Now, if you ever taken a science class at like a normal university, usually the averages are about a 60 or worse. Like when I took biochem, like the averages were in the 40s, which was atrocious and complete failure on the professor for doing that and allowing that. But it's interesting to think about because it's either everyone in my class is really smart or the exams are easy. But in my opinion, I don't find the exams too easy. I find them to be fair. They're really not too difficult, and I've been doing either average or above average on them. But that's my opinion. I've taken many sciences, and I can understand if they're difficult or made difficult. So today is Wednesday, March 11th. And if you have not already seen some of these news, some schools have been closing because of the coronavirus. Now, it's interesting because, NYU obviously is in New York City, and we are a very large school. I believe there's about 50,000 people who come here. So, I never thought NYU was actually going to close and become, a different kind of way. And I'll talk about what's going on with that soon. But the first sign that I knew it was going to happen was when Columbia closed. So this past weekend, I believe, Columbia announced that they were going online and they were going to be closing off any in-person classes and clubs to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Now, that is a really big move of itself because, again, Columbia is a really huge university too. It's very comparable to NYU. So basically, NYU announced on Monday, today is Wednesday, on Monday night, that they were going to be stopping all classes for the rest of the week, and that we were going to be picking up classes at the very earliest March 30th, or like basically the week of like April, like the very first week of April. And, that's kind of upsetting because, as you know, I'm in a nursing program. You can't really learn things by watching online classes. You have to be there and actually be in the hospital to really learn stuff. So on Tuesday, when I found out that my clinical got canceled, I mean, I was a little bit happy because I didn't want to wake up for 6:45 a.m. special for that one clinical, and then be there to 3:30 p.m. But, now I feel like I'm missing out on that experience. I know that I'm definitely going to have to make that up at some point because there's certain requirements you need for the licensing exam at the very end, the NCLEX. And, I'm sure I will make a video about that at some point in the future. Um, but now I feel like I'm going to have to play catch up with it, and I feel like it's not in a proper order. Another thing that I missed out on was tomorrow I was supposed to have something called a HAP demonstration. So what was going to happen was they were going to bring in a paid actor, and I was going to do a full head-to-toe assessment on this person. Now I'm not really sure that's actually going to happen because, it's only online. I can't be having any, in-person stuff, which is kind of a bummer because I really was actually kind of looking forward to that. It seems like it was going to be fun. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about before I get back to coronavirus again, because it kind of affects everything, is what have I been doing with my free time? So all my classes I told you before are really early in the morning, like 8 a.m., and I get out pretty early, like 11 or 2 most days. So what I ended up doing was I actually applied to get a part-time on-campus job. So I've actually been working for the IT department within the nursing school. So something that is really exciting and good for me, but not really good for the IT department, is the federal government said that they do not want work-study students to be working right now. But what NYU is doing, they are still going to be compensating me. So now, because NYU is closed and only online, for the next 3 weeks, I am going to be paid, but I don't have to work. I'm not working. It's not that I don't have to, I cannot work. So when I was talking with my supervisor today about this, it was really funny because he was like, yeah, just go to the diner and buy everybody a round of coffee and just be like, it's NYU's treat. I didn't do that because I like my money. But, I thought that was really interesting because, again, coronavirus is really affecting people everywhere. So how have we been doing now these online classes? We're not in person anymore, now we're online. So NYU has been using a company software called Zoom. So Zoom, it is very similar to Skype, it's very similar to Google Hangouts, to Adobe Connect, and it's pretty much what you think it would be. 160 people come and join a video session, and there's little options where you could type in a chat, you could have your video, you could share your screen, you could flag if you have like a question, like you want to raise your hand and stuff. So I had my first online class today because that's when online classes started, was today, March 11th. It was 8 a.m. Overall, I mean, it's not a bad option if you want to have online classes. It worked well. I was able to see my professor teaching stuff. I was able to see his screen. He did a great job working with these difficulties. It's just, when you're paying so much money to be going to an institution, you want to be in person. A lot of people like online classes. I've taken many online classes when I was at Stony Brook and also at Nassau Community College. But I don't like online classes, to be honest. I feel like they're very easy to just get an A in, and you really don't have to put much work in, and then you end up just not learning the content. I don't want that when you're spending so much money. I want to learn the content. I want to be there. I want to talk with people. And, what I ended up actually doing today was I have an 8 a.m. class. I took my computer and I actually walked to the nursing school. I sat down in class and I set up my computer so it was like I'm actually in class. Yep, I was the only person there. But it was kind of funny, that I'm thinking about it, because it was basically like I was in class, but I was not in class. So let's talk about now the coronavirus, everything I know about it. There has been many cases in New York from it. I can't really talk specifically about the coronavirus, but more like its impact on NYU. So far as people that have been infected at NYU, there has been no official announcements publicly or internally or to the students if there has been anybody infected at NYU with the coronavirus. But I do have some sources from like staff members and like my IT supervisor and other IT supervisors from different schools that have said that a law professor actually got coronavirus, an adjunct. But there has been no announcements about that, so I'm not sure if that's 100% true or NYU just did not want to announce it because they don't want to stir up some, mishigas. Um, there's other things that I do want to talk about, but we're going to save that for other videos. I think my next vlog, I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a tour of the nursing school, and that'll probably be in like a couple of weeks. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I think I've covered everything I wanted to talk about. Have a good one. Wait, don't leave yet. Okay, so there was one more thing I actually wanted to cover. So even though they closed classes, the dining halls are still open, something that they did do in my dorm specifically, in Gramercy, they actually closed down all the common areas. So the gym, the piano rooms, the lounges on most floors. And that's really kind of annoying because they didn't even announce this to us. Like, they didn't send any email out saying they're closing the lounges. It would have been nice if they told us. I just kind of walked down there when I was trying to make this vlog, and I found out, hey, you can't go in the study rooms to make a vlog because they are closed. Okay, this time I think that is it. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to say. Is there? No. Alright, have a good one.